Welcome back to the many adventures of Mama Tove with me, Mama Tove. So, today I'm going to give you a list of some of my very favorite Christmas movies, and I will tell you exactly why each one of them is something that I love to sit down and make sure that I watch every December, every year. So, here we go. So, the very first movie on my list is none other than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yes, I'm talking about the old claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with Hermie the Elf, Yukon Cornelius, the Island of Misfit Toys, and you can't forget that good old abominable snowman. Just one of those ones that, you remember as a kid, you watched it as a kid, at least I watched it as a kid, and most people that I'm friends with have watched it as a kid, It's just fun, and, when you have kids like I do, it's really fun to, watch those stupid old movies, because they're just silly cute, and your kids can enjoy them. I'm relatively certain that it has been a watch once every other day thing with my daughter, who is 3.5, and she just loves it. All she can talk about is Rudolph now. So, it's got all the old music and all the old songs that you remember, and it's just fun. It just gets you kind of in the Christmas mood, It's kind of like an easy watch because it's like 45 minutes long, and it's not hard to sit down and kind of enjoy it. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is my first pick because it reminds you of your childhood, and you can watch it with your kids and enjoy it. So the next movie on my list is The Polar Express. Now, it's a perfect movie to sit down and enjoy with your children of any age. Actually, any person who does enjoy this movie is a crazy person. But it's just one of those movies that it just gets you into the Christmas spirit. I mean, there's everything about this movie just kind of makes you really excited, to see your kids experience it, to even if you're an adult and you know that Santa Claus doesn't really exist, it makes you want to believe he exists, and more or less, the movie just kind of takes you on a journey with this little boy who's lost, the ability to believe that Santa truly does exist, or that anything having to do with the North Pole is all just a big farce. And so he magically wakes up one night and there's a train outside of his house, and they're saying they're going to the North Pole, and he takes a shot and he gets on it. He meets some new friends on the train once he's on it. He goes on an amazing adventure and does amazing things. In the end, he finally does get to actually meet Santa Claus. And that's what the whole story is about, believing the magic of Christmas. Adventure and lots of shenanigans that happen along the way. There's some cute songs in the movie, and it's just really fun, and it gets you really excited to see your kids, enjoy it, and it hits at home with you because everybody, goes through that phase in their life where, they realize that Santa's not real, and it just makes you want to believe. It just makes you kind of fills your heart with, Christmas spirit. And so it's just a perfect movie to get yourself all amped up for the holidays. So the next movie on my list is The Holiday. Now, technically, if you think about it, this movie is not specifically like a holiday Christmas movie. It's not super Christmassy, but it's a movie that I enjoy to watch. Every December, I watch it at least once, because the movie is based during the time period of the Christmas holiday. The actors in the movie are Kate Winslet and Jack Black, and Jude Law and Cameron Diaz. 4 very well-known actors. And the synopsis for the movie is basically 2 women that are having, romantic difficulties and stuff in their personal lives. They need to just get away from everybody that they know, and they end up finding each other online on a website and swapping houses, swapping lives, everything. One girl is from England. The other girl is from California, and they just completely swap lives. They've never met, and they just swap lives just for the Christmas holiday. And they end up each meeting, a man. Each has a different story, different scenario as to how they meet these men and what happens afterward. But it's just one of those movies that just makes you feel good, If you have a romantic heart and you just want good things to happen to good people, it's just such a sweet movie, and I enjoy it every time. I get emotional every time. I'm a big old crybaby, so these types of movies just hit really home with your heart. You find yourself really enjoying the characters and really enjoying, the little laughs in the movie. I mean, it is a funny movie, but it's like a romantic comedy sort of. So I think it's absolutely one of those movies that you need to experience, because if you have a soft heart like I do, you will sincerely enjoy this movie. It's absolutely something that you need to sit down and enjoy. You won't regret it. The next movie on my list is the movie The National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I believe that Christmas Vacation is the very first Griswold family movie that they made. Before Regular Vacation, before Vegas Vacation, before European Vacation, all of the other vacation movies with the Griswold family, I believe that this is the very first one that they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, I may be wrong, but correct me down below, let me know. This movie is so iconic. I mean, it's one of those movies that's been around for years and years and years. I believe it was made in the 1980s. And if it's just slapstick comedy, well, not slapstick, but it's just ridiculous, You've got the crazy brother-in-law who's insane, a terrifying Christmas tree picking adventure, or my very favorite scene where the cat eats a light bulb and explodes under a chair. It just reminds you that everybody has crazy people in their families. Everybody gets annoyed with people in their families. Crazy things happen around the holidays. And so it kind of brings you back home and makes you think, okay, well, it's not just me. Everybody else has issues with their family around the holidays. Everybody else has, bizarro things that happen. And so, not that, this is obviously a much exaggerated version of people, I mean, there may be a family out there that is like this in real life, but, it's just hilarious. And Chevy Chase, obviously is super funny in it. And you would think a movie about people having people over to your house for the holidays or whatever wouldn't be super hilarious, but of course National Lampoon never disappoints. It's an older movie, and you just find yourself laughing the whole way through, It's one of those movies where it's probably not, like, the best idea to sit down and watch it with your kids, because there is a little bit of raunch, there's a lot of adult content, and, if your kids are really little, they may be, most of the adult jokes and stuff will go over their head. But other than that, it's kind of one of those ones where you probably want to save it for, like, sitting down with your husband or your wife or, friends, like adult friends and stuff, and sitting down and enjoying a holiday movie if you guys just want to be laughing your butts off the whole time. It never gets old. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff and you have not seen this movie, which, I mean, the odds of you not have watched it yet are pretty low, but if you have not watched it yet, you need to go and watch it if you enjoy that kind of stuff. It's just something that you need to experience. So the next movie that I'm going to talk about, well, technically it's two movies, but they are two sides of the same coin, which would be the movies Holiday Inn and the movie White Christmas. I'm kind of bundling them together because they're both Bing Crosby Christmas classics, and they're both musicals with lots of dancing and hilarity, and they're both just really, really fun. And so the first movie would be Holiday Inn, which is Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire. Now, if you don't know who Fred Astaire is, then you're just crazy. He's a very famous actor who is very, very amazing dancer. And he can also sing, but he's more well known for his dancing. And Bing Crosby, of course, is the old Blue Eyes, you know, from the Rat Pack. So he and Fred Astaire have a kind of like a showbiz, you know, the two of them, they're in showbiz together, and Bing Crosby wants to leave showbiz and go start, you know, get settled down and buy a farm and stuff, and he's got this girl that's part of their show, and he wants to leave, so he says he's gonna leave, and then Fred Astaire ends up stealing the girl, and she stays in show business with him, and Bing Crosby ends up going on his own and doing this whole, you know, buying an inn and a farm and stuff and trying to do that for a while. And then he decides he wants to turn it into an inn and have a show at the inn for only holidays. He ends up hiring a woman to act in his show with him as his co-star and falls in love with her. Then Fred Astaire, of course, comes and finds out and tries to swoop in and steal her from him. Then some shenanigans happen, but, you know, everything works out in the end. Not all of the, you know, songs in the movie are about Christmas. They're about other holidays like St. Valentine's Day and Washington's birthday, Abraham Lincoln's birthday, New Year's and that kind of thing. But most of the movie kind of all centers around Christmas. And so, you know, it's fun because you're rooting for Bing Crosby because he's such a good guy, and Fred Astaire's kind of a jerk, and he's coming in and swooping up and stealing the girl. So, you know, it's just a fun movie, and the music and the choreography and the dancing and stuff in it is just really fun. And if you didn't know, the song White Christmas was actually originally written for this movie. The very first time it was ever heard was when it was sung by Bing Crosby in the movie, and that's pretty much how the song became so iconic, was because of this movie. Had this movie not existed, the song may not have existed. So be thankful for this movie, and if you haven't seen it, sit down and watch it because it's very, very worth the watch. So, moving on to the other side of the coin, which would be White Christmas, which is also Bing Crosby, like I said before, but it's years later, and the movie was made years later after Holiday Inn, and the movie is Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. If you don't know who Danny Kaye is, you should look him up and watch some of his movies because he is very, very well known back in the 1950s, 1960s, and even in the 1970s, I believe, as a very well-known actor. He can sing, he can dance, and he's really, really funny. His movies are always funny. And so this movie is cute because it's kind of like Danny Kaye is trying to get him to settle down so he can have some time on his own. They're both in show business together, and so he's trying to hook him up with any girl he can get him to get interested in, and it turns out that he's just not interested in it until they meet these two sisters. And these two blonde, beautiful sisters end up in a jam, and then Bing gives them their train tickets to go get away, and they end up on this train to Vermont, headed to this big lodge. And then they get to the lodge and find out that the guy who owns it is their old general from the army. And then they end up putting on this huge, beautiful musical production to help him out of his financial situation. The whole rest of the movie is them trying to find a way to help him out, but there's all of this singing and dancing and performing and all these musical numbers that happen along the way. And so it's just a really, really cute movie. Once again, if you like musicals and you like, you know, lots of kind of, you know, like showbiz flair and stuff from older style movies, both of these movies are just very right up your alley. So take the time to sit down and watch them because they're absolutely wonderful. The next movie on my list is none other than Elf. It's just one of those movies, like, it's one of my favorite things to watch every Christmas, and it's on TV even sometimes, like, quite a lot during the entire month of December, and I will sit and I will watch it every single time it's on TV, no matter what point of the movie that I come into. It's just one of those movies that, it's just a feel-good movie. You're just laughing and smiling the entire time because it's so cute. It's hilarious. even if you don't particularly like the main character, the main actor in the movie, Will Ferrell, you cannot help but just love his character in this movie. He's just so endearing and so adorable. Buddy the Elf is just so dang cute. I mean, come on, who doesn't love the fact that he's a human raised by elves?
Hey buddy, hope you find your dad.
I mean, come on, he freaks out because he thinks Santa's coming. And then he meets Jovi, and of course she's adorable, and he falls in love. It's a perfect movie to sit down and watch with your kids. They enjoy all the fun and the colors and the laughing and everything, and you can enjoy the adult jokes in the movie. It's very neutral Christmas movie for you and your kids and anybody else in your family to watch. The story is so cute. There are so many lines, so much dialogue in this movie that people just find themselves quoting all year round. Like, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? And smiling's my favorite. And, there's just so many lines in the movie that when you say them, people know what you're talking about because most everybody has seen the movie Elf because it's on TV so much during the month of December. If you're one of the crazies that has not seen the movie, you should go see it, or you should sit down and watch it because it's just so much fun, Who doesn't like the story of an elf that gets raised, or of a little boy who is raised as an elf, thinks that he's an elf and finds out that he's a human and then goes on a search to find his real dad, and his dad's a grump, he's a Grinch, and he's married and he finds out he has a half-brother and stuff, and the whole time he thinks he's an elf and he acts like an elf and it's like he's childlike, and so it's just hilarious, The movie is just so dang cute. So like I said before, if you are one of the crazy wackadoo people that has not seen this movie yet, sit down and watch it because it's probably going to be your favorite Christmas movie from now on. It's just so much fun. So those were all the movies that I have to suggest for you, all the Christmas fabulousness. So I hope that you enjoyed my video today. I really, really hope that it got you all amped up for Christmas and the holidays and sitting down and enjoying some super amazing movies. So if you haven't already subscribed or liked my page, please do. I would really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time. So take care. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for watching the many adventures of Mama Tove. Please subscribe and like.